The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Hi everyone, I'm Claudia Donnell. Welcome to Cooking with Claudia. We've changed our location. This isn't the kitchen I'm used to. No, this is the kitchen I'm used to. We're back in our home right now, and it was time for us to kind of semi-retire a little bit. So we've moved back home where all of the fun began. And we continue to do exactly what we do. We give cooking lessons, we give cooking parties, we do a little bit of catering. So we're still around. Today, we are making chicken pancetta. What is that? It's delicious. And it's pretty simple to make. You should be able to do this within an hour. So if you get home from work at 5, you should be able to eat around 6 or so. Well, so we're going to start off with the pancetta. This is nicely, wonderfully diced pancetta that you can get right in the supermarket. So we're going to put these in my pan. Now, pancetta is Italian bacon. It has a little bit of seasoning in it and a whole lot of salt, just like bacon does. It's non-smoky, so it has a different flavor than bacon, but it is Italian bacon. So I'm going to get those out, get this all out, all this deliciousness. And we're going to render it down, just like you do bacon. We're going to get these nice and crispy, and everything will be delicious. So let's get that going. While this is rendering down on a lower heat, just like bacon, you want to put it in a cold pan and put it on a medium heat to render it down. While that's doing that, we're going to chop up some of our vegetables. Now, the bulk of this recipe is chicken, of course, the pancetta, but it has a couple of really interesting herbs that go with it. So this one is called rosemary. It's got kind of a piney flavor to it. I like rosemary. It's a little bit strong, so you don't want to use a lot of it. So we're only going to use 1 sprig of it. And this is tarragon. Tarragon, we're also going to use 1 sprig. This has a little bit more of a licorice kind of flavor. Now, you're probably going, I don't like licorice. I don't like black licorice. I don't like anise. I don't like anything that tastes anything like it. But you give me a sprig of tarragon or you give me some basil and I'm a happy lady. So this is a very delicate flavored licorice flavor. Really good with chicken, excellent with vegetables, and really, really good with fish. So we're going to be using those. But before we do that, we have some chicken tenders here. I'm just going to very lightly salt them because you want to have everything seasoned. And the thing with poultry, any kind of poultry or fish, you don't want to season it too early because it'll tend to get mushy. So I'm just getting that ready. We're all set with that. Okay, now we've got to chop up some vegetables. These are called leeks. They look like great big huge scallions. And basically they are. They're of the onion family, and they have a delicious mild flavor. I'm just going to trim off the end. We're going to take these, we're going to cut them like that. Now the thing with leeks, they're grown in the ground like most onion products. So sometimes they get dirty. Not sometimes, they're always dirty. So I'm going to show you, see, did you see the dirt come out? I am going to have to go over to the sink for a few minutes just to finish cleaning it. But I tried to get as much of the outer layers off the leek as possible so that we don't run into this. I also check here, around here, and you can see sometimes sand. We're going to cut these into coins. But before I do that, I'm going to get this dirt off here. All right. So coins are just, we're going to keep them intact. And we're just going to make thin slices. And it looks like a coin, right? You see all the layers inside. I really like leeks because it's a nice onion flavor, but it's delicate. The next thing we're going to be chopping up is shallots, which is also from the onion family. And you might think, gee, Claudia, there's a lot of onions involved in this. It's going to be sharp tasting. It's really not. It's very mild and delicious. So these are done. Now, the other thing we're going to use is shallots. Shallots, or some people call them shallots. They look like little onions, and they are a delicious flavor, and they will make your eyes water. So I'm sorry, but I will be crying. And there. So you're going to just, like an onion, peel it off, get that outer layer off because it's not usually good. I just found a spot. Obviously, there was a little bit of a nick, so we cut that off. We're going to use 2 leeks and 3 shallots. Sometimes shallots have bulbs in them like this, and you just get one layer off, get the icky layer off. That's the professional way of talking about it, icky. Actually, yeah, that's all right. I was going to say, you know, if you don't like how things look, if it doesn't come out the way you want it, or it looks a little worse for wear, it's past its prime, it's not edible, then get rid of it. But if you keep peeling the layers, you might find that, hey, you know what? It's really okay. It just looked like it wasn't. So while I'm doing this, I went to the Red Sox game a week or so ago. Haven't been to the Red Sox in decades. Had a blast. But I got to be honest with you. We had wonderful seats. Did I watch the game? No, not so much. There's so much going on in the stands that I just can't focus on the game. And every once in a while I say, oh, jeepers, there's a game going on. And I'd look and I'd watch it for a minute or two, and then I'd get distracted because people would come by and be far more interesting because they were close to me. They weren't that far away. So we're just going to take this, we're going to just chop it up a little bit. Watch out for your fingers. This one here, I'm just going to trim. And you've heard me say this before, but you want everything about the same size for 2 reasons. Number 1, they cook the same. And number 2, it looks good. And you know, all right, I go in when to eat something when it looks good to me. And then I go to smell it, and it smells good. So now I'm going to give it a taste. But if something's all raggedy and not cooked or cut, the knife skills are all over the place. It just doesn't look appetizing. So you want to take as much care as possible. All right, let's go look on, see how our pancetta's doing. I don't think they're doing too well. I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit. Starting to render a little bit. So that's a good thing. We're going to want these to be crispy. And we're going to use the rendered fat to cook the rest of our things. So, pancetta, like bacon, is salty. So I didn't put any salt in that. Remember, I put a little layer of salt on your chicken tenders. When we start cooking these, we will also put a little bit of salt. So every ingredient that you put in your recipe, you want to put a sprinkle of salt. You don't have to put a lot, just a little. And what it does is it emphasizes the flavor of that particular ingredient that you are putting into your recipe. You want to do that so that you can taste everything that's in there. That's called depth of flavor. Yum. Good, good stuff. All right, so we've got this. That's going. Once the pancetta is done, we're going to brown the chicken. We're going to brown the chicken in the same pan that we made the pancetta. We're also going to cook the rest of the meal in the same pan. So it's pretty much a one-pot meal, except for if you want to make macaroni, pasta, or rice, or mashed potatoes. I made this for my family the other night, and I made it with mashed potatoes, and it was really, really good because the sauce gets a little bit thick, more of a gravy kind, and you've got all these wonderful vegetables in it, and it's really good. So let's go see how we're doing over here. We're getting there. It smells really good. There's no smell of bacon because it's not bacon, it's pancetta, so it has a different flavor or scent. There's no smoky flavor. So I'm going to put it in a bowl when it's done on top of paper towel to drain it. All right. Out they go. In they go for a little rest. We'll put them back in when the chicken goes in. And they can get more flavor into the gravy or the sauce. I'm going to call this a gravy. It's not a sauce because it's not made with tomatoes. There's a lot of us Italians that have a conversation about tomato sauce. Is it tomato sauce or is it gravy? If it's gravy, it's made by meat. Roast beef, chicken. If it's sauce, it's made with tomatoes. My Nana told me that. Okay, we're going to turn the heat up a little bit on the stove so that these brown quickly. They're not going to cook. We don't care if they cook because they're going to go in with the leeks and the shallot and cook some more. So remember, I put a little bit of salt on the bottom layer, on the top layer. And now we're going to put these in. Quiet. And I'll put a little bit of salt on the top bottom layer. That's the noise you want to hear, nice loud sizzle. A little bit of salt. We're going to just ignore it. We're going to let it cook. Get brown on both sides. Put that there. There we go. So, we have the chicken tenders are browning. Both sides you want to brown those. When they're browned on both sides, a golden brown, not a dark brown. Just you're going to cook it in the sauce. So keep that in mind. So we're just going to get this nice and brown. Then we're going to put in the leeks and the shallots. Let those cook for a little while. Then we'll put some white wine in it and let it reduce. Going to lower the heat a little bit. These come off. We're going to just let them hang out. Now remember, anytime you take something off the heat, whether it's in the oven or off the stove, whatever you're cooking continues to cook a little while. Not to say these are going to be ready and edible. They're not. I'm just getting these. We're going to put this stuff in here. Just like this. There's a little bit of flavor on the bottom of this pan that was given by the chicken when we browned it. So we want to make sure that we maintain that. So we're going to let this cook now for a little while. I am going to put a little bit of salt on it. I'm going to turn that up a little bit. We've got our tarragon in and our rosemary is in. We want to get this cooked so that they're starting to get translucent. You don't have to cook them completely. This is going to cook for a little while in the sauce. Okay, I'm going to put a cover on it just to let it soften up a little quicker. This keeps the heat in a little bit and also keeps the moisture in so that it doesn't burn. You don't want it to burn. You want it to soften and get translucent. That's the goal. White wine is what we're going to put in, and I only need a half a cup of white wine. They suggested Pinot Grigio, which is a white wine that I happen to like. It's very dry and very light. We only need a half a cup of this. I had a young boy, 11 years old, that came for a cooking lesson during April school vacation. And he wanted to make something that had brandy in it. So we got that, and I said, we poured it in, and I said to him, I don't want to see you swigging out of that bottle. And so he pretended he did. He was really a cute, very sweet young boy. I had a lot of fun with him. Likes to cook. If you like to cook, you're a friend of mine. All right. Oh, you can start to smell now the tarragon and the rosemary in with the shallots and the leeks. It's really, really nice. Now I'm going to put the wine in. Now here's the thing. When you're putting in any alcohol in your pan, wine, brandy, take it off the heat. Take it off the heat element because you don't know if it's going to ignite. And you don't want it to ignite in your hands or in your face. Sometimes you want to ignite and you do that on purpose, and when you do it on purpose, that's flambe, and you're aware of it, and you're expecting it, and you compensate for it, but not when you're just putting in some ingredients to enhance the flavor of your recipe. So we're going to get this to a point where it's almost completely dry. The white wine is going to get into the flavor of your vegetables, and when we put in the chicken stock, it will complement that. So I'm going to go get the chicken stock ready because we're almost there. So when I use, if I don't have my own chicken stock, I use a boxed one. This is the one I use, but I always use things that either have no sodium or low sodium because I like to control what I put in the food that I feed my family or anybody. So this is 3 cups. Just like that. And this is just broth. You don't really need to be too careful with it because it's not going to ignite when you pour it in. So this is almost completely dry. I'm going to put this in. Now we're going to put it up high. We're going to boil it. We want to reduce it some. And while we're reducing it, we're going to get a couple of other things ready. I am going to put in about a teaspoon of salt because there's a lot of 3 cups of low sodium chicken and wine, white wine. So we'll put in a teaspoon of salt. Start low because you can't take it out, but you can always add it. So we're just going to do one of these. All right. We're going to let that come to a boil. Take a tablespoon of cornstarch. cornstarch is a great ingredient, and it's used as a thickener, which is the case here, but it's also finicky, and it doesn't like to be mixed with hot ingredients. If you put in, I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of water. If you put in hot water, it's going to seize up. If you put in cold water, it'll mix. I don't understand it. I kind of like being mixed with warm stuff, but cornstarch is good. So, 1, 2, 3. This is called a slurry. It's just cornstarch and water. You can also melt cornstarch with wine or broth, but this calls for a little bit of water. So we'll see how we're doing here. So I have not tasted things as we've gone along. I'm going to do that right now. Now you have to see about the adjusting of the seasonings. So pardon me. All right, here we go. It doesn't need more salt. Tastes so good. Gonna put this in. Stir it around. Okay. Now it's on simmer. We're going to take the chicken that we've already browned. We're going to put him in, and this is going to finish off the cooking. So we're going to let it cook for about 20 minutes. We should keep the chicken breast tender and juicy, but cooked all the way through. We'll check it in 20 minutes. Now we just let it cook. So the chicken's been cooking for a few minutes. I'm going to put in the pancetta now, because we want to add that flavor also. And we're all set. Give it a twirl. Let it do its thing. When I'm cooking chicken, especially chicken breast, because I don't usually do a good job with chicken breast, I usually overcook it, undercook it, because I'm afraid that it's going to get tough. I find breast dry and tough. I'm a dark meat kind of girl. So we're going to take the temperature and see what it has to say. We're looking for a temperature on your chicken. I'm looking for 158 degrees. If it reaches 158 degrees and you take it off the heat, it's going to go up at least 5 or 6 more degrees before before it stops cooking. That will ensure that it's not going to be too tough or too dry, because you've let it cook the rest of the way on its own. So I'm going to take the thickest chicken tender that I can find, and I'm going to take its temperature and see what it comes out to. People ask me, how do you know when chicken is done? You're going to take the temperature. Unless it's on a bone. If it's on a bone, then it pulls away from the bone, and then you know it's pretty much done. The other thing is when you prick it with this or a knife or a fork, if the juices run clear, there's a good chance that it's done. So this is registering, it's still going up to around 150. So I'm going to let it cook for a little longer. You always want to make sure that the piece that's the biggest is edible. You don't want to make anybody sick, because raw chicken's not good, not good. Any raw poultry isn't good. Can you smell it? It smells good. So again, crusty rolls you could use, nice crusty bread, because its sauce is so delicious. You might want to moonge it up. You can make it with just rice mashed potatoes, pasta, however you want to make it. I didn't make it the other night with another vegetable because we had 2 vegetables in here. I did. I made some corn. I made a mistake. But I trying to keep it simple. I don't like it to compete, anything to compete with what the real thing is. This is an easy, delicious meal. We are here in our home. We are welcoming you to our home and hope that you'll call and come for a cooking lesson and enjoy the surroundings. The dining room is right there, so that if you cook a meal with other people and you want to eat right here, you can eat. It's still the same amount of fun. We have a great time, and the food remains to be good, mostly. I get a little nervous when pasta is on the menu, especially as the summer months come on, because making fresh pasta when it's humid, because it's really humid today, is not the best time to make it. But you got to make pasta when you need to make pasta. The reason why humidity interferes with making a good homemade pasta is because it's sticky out, which means your dough is going to be sticky, and you don't want it sticky, so you add more flour, which makes the dough tougher or heavier. Personally, I don't mind a heavy piece of pasta, but not everybody likes it. All right, I think we're done. This is delicious. I'm going to taste it one more time just to make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. Delicious. Really, really, really good. Here it is. Looks good. Smells good. I can't wait to eat it. Go for it. Here it is. Can you see it? It's all the little vegetables, the pancetta. Delicious. Enjoy it. Buon appetito, my friends. Buon appetito.